It's myself and the fantastic Anna. We want to talk to you over the next couple of minutes about customer lifetime value and why we believe it's a marketing multiplier. But in order to do that, I need to bring you back in time to my favorite decade, the 1980s, specifically to 1989. I was 8 years of age, and these are the most important things in my life. Just out of interest, though, put your hand up in the air if you recognize them. Wow, amazing. I thought I was going to feel like the oldest person in the foundry. For the Gen Zers that don't recognize them, right? These are little reflectors that came free in every box of Kellogg's cornflakes. And if you're cycling your bike around Tala in 1989 and you didn't have every wheel covered in these reflectors, you are absolutely nobody. They were like the Bitcoin of our generation. Now, it's only taken me 12 years of working in advertising to figure out what Kellogg's were doing here. But they're trying to get us to buy more boxes of Kellogg's cornflakes. They mobilized their army of 8-year-old boys and girls to pester our parents to buy more boxes. Back in 1989, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me was a bowl of Kellogg's cornflakes. So it worked. But that's what great companies do, right? Great companies come up with strategies, tactics. They come up with ways to get you to spend more often. Now, the strategies might vary, but the objective remains exactly the same. Get you to spend more often. McDonald's, for example, had a very different strategy. Their strategy focused on process. They understood that if they could reduce the time it took to get a Big Mac into your hands, they'd obviously sell more Big Macs, but you'd be more likely to come back to them again and again. They got that time down to 113 seconds, and they currently sell about 2.4 million Big Macs every single day. Apple, on the other hand, focused on something very different. They focused on product diversification and innovation. Just a fancy way of saying they came up with the coolest stuff and did it often enough that kept you coming back. It wasn't because they came up with a new charging cable for every single product. It's because they had really cool products. And then lastly, world-renowned for being customer-obsessed, Amazon understood the power of the subscription, right? They understood that if they could give you free shipping and access to other Amazon products for a monthly fee, you'd be more likely to shop with them more often. They were 100% right. And believe it or not, 46% of Amazon Prime members shop with them every single week. The reason that great companies focus on doing these kind of things or these kind of strategies is to increase lifetime value. And lifetime value is your average purchase value multiplied by average purchase frequency. The reason they focus on increasing lifetime value is because they understand its power as a marketing multiplier. And a marketing multiplier is a metric that has a multiplier impact on all of your marketing investments and all of your marketing efforts. And if you think about how we calculate ROI, you'll all be very familiar with this equation. There's one particular part of this equation I want to focus in on, which is the value of a sale. Over the last number of years, we've been conditioned to think about value through the lens of our weekly and our monthly reports. But if we can extend our view and extend our timeline and unshackle ourselves from the confines of that monthly report, we can think less about value and more about lifetime value. When we do that, we can come up with strategies and tactics designed to increase lifetime value, thereby having a multiplier impact on all of our marketing efforts. So, if some of the best companies in the world are focused on doing this, and if the research shows us that it's actually cheaper to retain and grow your existing customers than it is to acquire new customers, why is every company on the planet not absolutely obsessed with increasing lifetime value? Well, the reason is really simple. It's because they haven't needed to. Over the last 10 years, the explosion in online meant that companies could acquire new customers just by leveraging the massive changes that were happening in user behavior online. For example, just being able to reach way more people. Over the last 10 years, the amount of people online has doubled. So the potential audience you could reach over the last 10 years doubled. That audience are way more engaged. They're spending way longer online. And as Caitlin and Mikey showed us, they're spending a scary amount of time on some social media platforms. Over the last 10 years, the amount of time spent online has increased by 50%. So you've got a larger audience spending more time online. And lastly, that audience are more likely to put their hands in their pocket and buy something. They have a higher propensity to convert. COVID was the catalyst, but that trend has absolutely continued. So the big tech platforms of Google and Facebook, as the gatekeepers to that audience, were able to capitalize on this. There's an explosion in cheap traffic and an acquisition gold rush. Well, as some of the speakers have mentioned earlier on, acquisition costs are increasing, and our industry is slightly maturing. So we have a choice. We can either absorb those increased acquisition costs, or we can make every customer we acquire more valuable. The way we do this is to have a look at our marketing multiplier. And in order to do that, we need a direct connection to that customer. That direct connection comes via our CRM. We can directly connect to the customer via our CRM. We launched our CRM offering in the height of COVID. Here's some of our team in our abandoned office. I was going to say during lockdown, but that'd be illegal. In our abandoned office. Here's some of our team in our abandoned office at some legal point when they could get together. And they're literally brainstorming a way to launch a new service. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to find a way to connect our clients with their customers more directly and outside big tech platforms. It's now our fastest growing service offering, actually. So you can imagine when I read this headline, I nearly spat out my cornflakes. And that's that Google were considering acquiring the biggest CRM platform out there in HubSpot. Since this headline came out, apparently these conversations have progressed. I thought I was going to be standing up here telling you this was unlikely. I now feel like this is very likely, and Google are about to buy one of the biggest CRM platforms out there. So it's really important for us to take a pause and think about what this tells us about Google's view of the current digital marketing ecosystem. And I think I figured it out. If you think about it, Google have done a phenomenal job of plonking themselves between you and your potential customer. They've offered a huge amount of value by doing that, but that's essentially what they've done. Over the last couple of years, a couple of things have now plonked themselves between Google and that customer, namely privacy and regulation. I would suggest AI as well. So a little bit of distance creeps in between Google and that customer. CRM is your shortcut to the customer, and I have absolutely no doubt that that's the way Google see it. But we don't have to wait for Google to buy HubSpot. Here to show you how we can already use that shortcut to your customer to increase lifetime value. Will you please put your hands together for Anna?
Thanks, Brendan. Thank you. This is all great, Brendan, but how many of you actually know what your customer lifetime value is? Well, we have created a poll for you to find out. Hopefully this time will work. So please scan the QR code and vote. So as expected, most of you wouldn't know your customer lifetime value. But why don't we? Well, the first reason is that customer lifetime value is difficult to measure. Luckily, there are CRMs and email platforms like Klaviyo with robust analytics capabilities that will do the work for you and report on CLV. The second reason is that, as Brendan mentioned before, in the past, it used to be both easy and inexpensive to focus on acquiring new customers through channels such as Facebook and Google. Given this, why would any business bother investing their efforts into customer retention? And of course, we do recognize that not everyone in this room is an Amazon, McDonald's, or an Apple, right? Most of the businesses are not. But what you do all have is owned user data. The only thing you need to do now is to leverage this data with the right retention marketing strategy. This is where we come in as Wolfgang to help you. The first step is to capture the audience's attention on a platform such as Google, Meta, and TikTok, leveraging their extensive reach. Then we direct this attention to email and SMS, the platform where we have greater control of your own user data. And finally, we maintain direct and personalized communications with your customers to encourage repeat purchases and foster long-term loyalty. In Wolfgang, we've developed our email and SMS marketing framework, retention framework, which consists of 4 stages: the pre-purchase, the transactional, the retention, and the advocacy stages. All of them are centered around customer value, which is perceived differently by the business and the customer. For the business, the customer value is defined by revenue, while for the customer, the value is defined by the brand experience. To understand the customer value a bit better, let me tell you a short story. This is Jelle, our Jelle, a senior client lead in Wolfgang. What you need to know about Jelle is that he's Dutch, he's the kindest soul, and he loves his shoes. So Jelle was recently telling me that he wanted to buy a new pair of Carhu shoes. There were 2 stores near his house selling Carhu, and he had prior experience purchasing from both. Despite the first store being closer to his house, Jelle actually chose to buy from the second store and walk the extra 16 minutes there. Why? Because as Jelle said, they provided him with better service and more information. So on one hand, Jelle valued his previous experience in the store, and this experience influenced him to buy again. And on the other hand, this store managed to make Jelle more valuable to them by increasing his lifetime value. What this store needs to do now is to create a connection with Jelle over time to encourage repeat purchases and foster long-term loyalty. This is part of our job as digital marketers in Wolfgang. We want to replicate your brand's great experience through a similarly great digital marketing experience. Once this is achieved, then we will start multiplying the ROI of your customers. As data shows, the more you make your customers buy from your business, the more likely they are that they will buy again. After the first purchase, there is a 27% chance of a second purchase, which jumps to 49% after the second purchase and keeps increasing. This trend shows how fostering repeat purchases through marketing not only increases immediate ROI, but also sets the stage for growth over time, showcasing the power of the marketing multiplier. So the time to focus on your existing customers is now, and retention marketing should absolutely be your new obsession. To get retention right, the first step is to understand your audience by segmenting your email list into smaller cohorts based on previous purchase and engagement data. This then will allow you to implement different tactics for different groups of people. As you implement the strategy, you need to measure its effectiveness by monitoring the movement among the different segments. You know, for example, that your retention works well if your segment of lapsed customers is decreasing, while your segment of repeat customers is increasing. And now that we have full control of your list and data, let's go back to our framework to give you some examples for each stage. Today, we are going to focus our examples on automated flows because we believe this is the most effective type of communication to increase customer lifetime value. The first example is for the pre-purchase stage and our client Shoes for Cruise. Once a user adds a product to their cart, we trigger an automated abandoned cart flow, offering a discount. This discount changes automatically based on the segment that the user belongs. For new potential customers, we offer 15% off, while for existing customers, we offer 20% off. While it may seem odd to offer a larger discount to existing customers than to potential new ones, existing customers are more valuable and more profitable for the business in the long run. Then we move on to the transactional stage, which is the stage that most businesses completely ignore. Here is an example for our client, the Night Sky. Based on the product that someone has just ordered, in this case, an unframed print of a star map, we offer them options for upselling and cross-selling. In this example, we offer them options to upgrade their shipping to Express, to add a frame, or to upgrade to a canvas. By offering these choices, we've just managed to turn these transactional emails into additional revenue from the same customer. The next stage is the retention, where we try to maximize the value of our customers by making them buy again at a higher frequency for more. Where your business has a subscription model, like our client PetStop, tap into that with replenishment flows and incentivize your customers to sign up to the subscription. This will turn them into monthly repeat customers. And finally, the advocacy stage, where we try to increase our customers' loyalty. Here we have an example of a birthday flow for our client Shoes for Cruise. Here we collect birthdays as zero-party data from our customers. Then we trigger a date-based flow, and we send a nice message and a gift on our customer's birthday. This flow not only increases repeat purchases, but also demonstrates that the brand cares about their customers. With our retention marketing strategies, we've managed to increase our clients' customer lifetime value by an average of 23%. Now think about that for a second. Your customers are now 23% more valuable. What does this mean for your business? It means that the value of all your marketing efforts and investments has now multiplied, allowing you to outweigh the higher acquisition costs. And the hero this year, none other than customer lifetime value, the metric that leads to increased profitability, defending you against any looming threats to your business growth. Thank you very much.